Good day and welcome to Elevating Today, our podcast where we highlight customers and successes from different organizations that we support around the community. My name is Aakash Patel and I'm the founder and president of Elevate Inc. And I'm honored that we are going to have Elizabeth Dvorak on episode 7 today. Of course, this is season 1. But before we start, I want to highlight 2 different things that are going on in our community. Number 1, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays. They have made it to the World Series. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but congratulations to the LA Dodgers who did. I had the privilege and honor of going to the World Series Game 6 in Dallas recently, and here's an image of me at the game with some friends. I know next year is going to be an amazing season. We were going to work really hard, and we're hopeful that we are going to win the World Series next year, just like the Lightning won the Stanley Cup this year. So we really appreciate the Tampa Bay Rays and all that they do. I also want to thank Dr. Jerry Beinhauer of Simply Smarthealth, another client who's doing amazing things in helping our city. He's one of the real men wear pink that support the American Cancer Society. He's a community leader, a physician, a family man, and he is raising awareness to fight breast cancer. And his family has really supported him. We're supporting him at Elevate Inc. We've made donations, and we want to thank him for all that he does. And again, if you're interested in being on our podcast, if you're interested in working with Elevate Inc., please reach out to us at info@elevate-inc.com or go to our website, elevate-inc.com. We want to work with companies that are relocating, individuals that are starting businesses, and folks that want to get the word out about their individual organization or just run a rebrand to get to know more people for their sales and increase awareness. So again, thank you for watching our podcast. We really hope you enjoy it. And if you have any feedback, please share it. Thanks so much. Good day and welcome to Elevating Today, episode 7 of season 1. We're so excited for you to join us this afternoon. And I've got my friend, Elizabeth Dvorak. Elizabeth, welcome.
Thank you so much, Aakash. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Elizabeth. Now, a lot of people at home have heard of Workscapes before because of your impact in the community. But for those who have not heard of the organization, tell us about Workscapes and then about you professionally.
Well, I get asked all the time, my designer, where did I come from? But I actually was in clothing. I was in fashion retail, and a newlywed. We moved to Atlanta after a whirlwind romance in Florida. And so when we moved to Atlanta, I was working nights and weekends, and my husband was traveling 4 days a week. And I thought, after knowing each other 9 months and getting married, this is not the way to start a marriage. We never see each other. So he said, why don't you look into outside sales? And I have a buddy over at a furniture dealership. Why don't you take a look at that? I said, furniture? I don't know much about furniture, but I love design and homes and textiles and all those things from my fashion retail days. So one thing led to another, and I joined a very good dealership there in commercial furniture in Atlanta for about almost 6 years. Then I went out on my own. I'm the youngest of 4, and we've all had our own businesses, and I got the same itch. Pregnant with our second child. And then we were awarded a trip to Hawaii through my husband's job, and that led us to talking about our family goals and what we wanted. And we didn't have any family in Atlanta. And so as we talked, his impending promotion would take us to Denver, and he would probably be on an airplane most of the time and unable to coach Little League and the things he wanted to do. So as we talked, we decided, he decided he liked my business. I had gone out on my own at that point, as I mentioned, and so I said, well, if you really like the commercial furniture business, why don't we talk to one of my mentors when we get back to Atlanta? And so when we flew back on a cold January day, it was raining, we went to see a friend of mine, the phone rang, and it was a gentleman in Orlando, Florida, saying he'd like to sell his dealership.
Wow.
Right when we were sitting at the table. So we thought that was pretty much a sign, and 60 days later, we had relocated to Orlando, and with our young kids in tow, 3 and not quite 1, and we owned a new dealership with 6 people.
What year was that?
That was 1998.
Wow.
Things somehow happen in March all the time, in March of 1998. And we moved into where the gentleman had his dealership in an old Shakey's Pizza in Orlando, and started the journey there. And we then expanded. Right before 9/11, we opened in South Florida, and that was 2001, of course. And then as we grew our business, it sort of plateaued and held at a certain revenue level. So we really wanted to grow. I suppose we could have sold, or we could have just sort of stayed the same, stayed a boutique, but we wanted to grow. So we looked for opportunities there, and were introduced to Herman Miller. We were at the time a Knoll dealer, a wonderful company for about 15 years. So we decided to talk with them, and we were kind of what they were looking for, and they were what we were looking for, and really allowed us to grow our footprint statewide. So we did a very large acquisition in March of 2013, and that allowed us to pick up 3 new markets: Tampa, Fort Myers, and Jacksonville. And so we had 5 locations. We moved our family again to South Florida, thinking we had to be in the biggest market in the state. And then most recently, we sold South Florida, which afforded us the opportunity to move to Tampa and make Tampa our headquarters. So we're real excited about that.
And we've been so excited we get to work with you as soon as you moved here, and 2 years ago now almost. So, Tampa is a changing community. I think a lot of people always ask you this, but I'll ask you because some of our viewers don't know, why is this your Florida headquarters?
Well, we really saw an incredible opportunity for Tampa. I think the timing to move here has been extraordinary, even amongst a pandemic. And when we could have easily gone back to Orlando, we could have gone to any of our locations, but we felt Tampa was really on the up and coming and had a lot of potential. And it has water. It's a beautiful place to live. It is such a desirable place to live. So we've been here a little over, it'll be 2 years in January. And you've been a big part of that, Aakash. I mean, really getting together with you and working with you closely helped us really expedite our entrance into the community, meeting some incredible people, and getting the chance to work with amazing people.
No, I appreciate that, and we've had a great partnership. And at Elevate, we're always about helping our community. And I know one of the things in your mission statement from when you were in Orlando, even South Florida, even when you were in Atlanta, you always find time to give back. Why is that important to you and your business?
I think it's essential. I think having community service and just being a part of the community, not just what can you take from the community, but what can you give. And we've always operated that way from when we started to 6 people to now we have 85 people and their families. And that's a big responsibility. And I feel we have a responsibility to the community to give back on all the blessings we've received from building our company, Workscapes. And in fact, with our employees, we really encourage everyone to pick a philanthropy, especially our sales team. They're really asked to pick a philanthropy they like. We support that, a professional organization, and to build a professional leads group of their own. And those 3, with community being at the top.
Now, recently you were appointed to the board of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, a statewide position. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, we've been involved in LLS for quite some time, and when I met Melanie Johnson, the new executive director here, I think through you, of course, we really, that hit close to home. What I didn't tell you, through our large acquisition of buying 5 dealerships all at the same time and doubling our revenue and staff size overnight, we were in the middle of treatment for our oldest child, our son Will, who's now, I'm glad to tell you, is in 8th year of remission, and he has joined our family business.
And just had a birthday recently.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So he's a warrior and a hero, but Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has been an amazing organization that I wish I had known about the first time he got cancer. He's a 2-time survivor, ages 10 and 18, and LLS has just been tremendous in the amount of research and their help that they give the families going through those tough times.
Now, I know that there's a great stat out there that you and I always talk about. I think it's 80% of corporate businesses, use Herman Miller as their office furniture. Is that correct?
It is, and it was precisely one of the reasons we really wanted to grow, but grow with a company, a main line, if you will, that has such a robust portfolio of products. They're 3 times the size of our previous manufacturer that we represented, and they had healthcare too, which is really important to bring those healthcare solutions for Florida in particular.
In fact, I was going to ask you, Tampa General Hospital has been in the news. Of course, they get recognized nonstop as one of the best hospitals, not only in the area here, but in the nation. And I think you just recently completed a Tampa General Hospital project. We
did. We did a couple of key projects for them with the foundation office and the team member lounge, and just so happy to be a part of that very intelligent team at Tampa General and to help them realize their vision. That's what we do at Workscapes, is really go through sort of a discovery, a design, and a deliver, really 3-step process to really help clients navigate the workplace, build the best environment. And most organizations struggle when it comes to remodeling or relocating, and we sort of help take all that angst around change out of it and help clients realize their best, and optimize their real estate for the best outcome.
And a lot of people, have to ask, what is the competitive advantage? Because a chair could be a chair for somebody, but it's really not the case.
You're so right. When you stand one brand of furniture next to the next, it all looks the same. In fact, I have had a hard time, really noting the differences. But the difference comes down to expertise and service. We don't make anything, so our dealership, Workscapes, really is all about service and helping the client on their journey through a successful project on budget, on time. And we really we put a lot into that experience, and we put a lot into the people that we hire to make sure our design staff is absolutely the best in Florida, and that our account executives are very robust in their knowledge of the workplace and really looking ahead for clients 2 to 5 years so that they can build something that's lasting.
Now, March, you talked about, such an important month. Of course, it's my birthday, so I'm a bit biased towards March. But also this March, we had something called COVID-19 hit us. And I know that every entrepreneur, like yourself, has to reevaluate, revisit, and use the word pivot. How did Workscapes and how did you just personally, professionally pivot your business to make sure that you're in business when this is all over?
Well, as an employer, I certainly spent most of my time encouraging our team. And we really over-communicated, I would say, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback that was the right thing to do, as we all navigate this very unusual, unprecedented time. For our own people, we wanted to take care of them first, and of course, our own families. And really, we leaned on Herman Miller and their research because they put a lot of money into R&D, and they happen to make furniture.
Right.
So we really leaned on them and other studies to help us, because one size doesn't fit all, first of all, for clients. So we've been trying to help each client individually really navigate their own situation and ultimately build an environment that employees feel psychologically and physically safe returning to the workplace. But it's been a roller coaster ride, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I think what's important about your industry, you are right. You communicated very well by reaching out to a lot of your current and past clients. And I think that's important because people say, well, why past clients? They've already done business with us. But you keep that relationship open. And then recently you sent an email out, I think, which an update was a case study that I think talked about the future of office, space and office.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yes, well, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but really taking in all this research and listening really well to our clients and seeing, there's a wide spectrum out there of how people are approaching this. But I think in essence, what you'll see is we now know that people can work from home. Right. And that's okay. So really, there's a whole track of kind of getting people set up ergonomically and healthy to be working in a more healthy way when they're at work, at home rather, and not just at their dining room chair. So there's sort of that avenue, but so the workplace will be a place that'll probably have a variety of settings, and it'll be a landscape that offers a lot of different choice. When you can come into the office, you can do a particular type of work. If you have young children at home, you're going to want a place that you can come in and have focused, heads down time. And so what we call this is distributed work. And we're going to be, designing more of those spaces. And it's really all about agility and resilience, really building a space that's agile, flexible, and can move and not be so static, because we don't know what the future holds. But if we can provide a space that allows you to change and move as your company's needs grow and change in a safe way, healthy way, then I think, we've achieved it.
Now, a lot of folks, heard you talk about healthcare and how that's a specialty for you all across in all of your offices.
Yes.
What are some other industries or people watching at home they're going to reach out to you that they want to connect you with? What's your target ideal customer?
Our ideal customer is a company that has 25 employees or more that really takes a longer look at their facility and really looks at their real estate as an asset. And we're not the whole picture, but furniture and the solutions around it of building a great environment so people can do their best work is really a key ingredient. It's a key ingredient to attract and retain the best talent as well. So we serve healthcare, as you mentioned, government, higher ed, and corporate business, commercial business, and private enterprise. And I think that anyone who wants to optimize that situation of their workplace and really buy well, buy right, buy once,
right.
because you can really keep throwing money, bad money after good, buying things that may not last, may not function well, and may not, meet the needs of your technology, your people. So I do believe people are going to go back into the office. I think Gensler did their study, which was one of the best I've seen, really says that only about 12% of people really want to work from home. We are made to be in community. That's how we're wired, and to be with people and to have those conversations around the water cooler and those serendipitous meetings, walking to and from your desk. And that's where innovation takes place. That's where community takes place, and you learn from each other. So I think we're going to see a return to that. May not be as it was pre-COVID, but it'll be a version of it.
I'm glad you mentioned innovation, because I think what you and I have talked about, we've seen a lot in this community, is businesses are starting from the pandemic and even before the pandemic, and a lot of them are female-owned. And I know you're a female-owned business, right? And what do you say to women specifically out there that are starting businesses, that are going through some adverse challenges? Because it's not easy to start during a pandemic.
No, it certainly isn't, but I have just been amazed, haven't you, at the adaptability of, I've seen so much innovation, adapting to the new environment. I've been inspired by it. And I would say to women and anyone wanting to start a business to just go for your passion, and you have to stick with it, and it teaches you resilience. And maybe you wanted to produce something a certain way, but now we can't, and we have to do it a different way. We've learned soapbox and all these other ways to present that are not in person. So we've had to connect a different way. And I also would say to do your homework and make sure you're prepared and you set up the right structure and so forth to build your business.
Now, you have had mentors in your life, and I'm sure you still do. Can you talk about a mentor that's really impacted you? I know you talked about the one that sold you business. And then there are people here that are watching this that really want a mentor. And how do they find the right one? Or do you mentor people today, in your business or outside your industry?
Well, as I've met people over the years and they talk about their mentor, this mentor, that mentor, I really didn't have a mentor. I was really inspired by my mom and dad. They taught me a lot. One of the key lessons my dad taught me is never be too far from the customer. He was in the automotive business. He never wanted his office upstairs where all the dealer owners usually have their office. He wanted to be right on the showroom floor so he could hear and communicate and interact with customers. So I have never forgotten that. So he's been a tremendous mentor to me, and I've used his lessons throughout my career. My husband has been a tremendous partner and mentor to me. He showed me things in business and in life that really has, I think, allowed me to be at my best and allowed me to dream big and think bigger. And so I've appreciated that. And then I've just had wonderful women over the past 25 years that have really inspired me, from large companies to small. I've got to know, in my involvement in EDC in Central Florida, Meg Crofton, the head of Disney, and we had breakfast together. Very different agendas with our size companies, but boy, did I learn from her and how she ran her board meetings, and being a fellow board member with her. I've served on the Edith Bush, I still do, Edith Bush Charitable Foundation Board, the gold standard for foundation boards, and just privileged and honored to serve with an incredible group of people that have been my mentors also.
Now, you mentioned something that we still don't hear about a lot. Family business that's been in business for many years, and you have a succession plan, obviously, and not only that, you've had a work-life balance. Like you said, you've not just one, not two, but three kids. So how did you manage, and how do you manage work-life balance? Because I can only gather that there were a lot of busy times for you between work and family life,
yes.
and you got to schedule things. So how did it all come together?
Well, first of all, a lot of people can't believe that we can work, husband and wife can work together. A lot of spouses, they're very strong marriages that they cannot work together, but for us it works. And we look forward to every day, and we're not always with each other. We have different focuses in the business. But yes, my dad had a family business that my brother now runs and has carried on, and we have a family business, and it's really been amazing to see it grow. It has been tough to have work-life balance, and there's been a lot of sacrifices, a lot of missed baseball games, missed things that you have to make some choices. So, but I think our kids have turned out all right, and I think it's been good for them to see a work ethic, and that what we have to do to build a company, and we feel a tremendous sense of responsibility now for 85 employees and their families.
Wow.
We take that very seriously, and now we're so honored to have our son have a passion in the business and join us. So it's been a good partnership, I would say, working with Dick. We've been able to trade off and help each other cover in a lot of instances when we have either personal, professional things tugging at us, and you just have to do the best you can.
And so many people want to know where your office locations are. So you're in Tampa and downtown, you're Fort Myers, Jacksonville, and Orlando.
Yes.
Will there be any more?
We are just fine with our footprint of 4. We like to, do what we do and do it well. And I am proud to be a Florida business and Florida-based business. There's been a lot of consolidation that's happened in our business, so a lot of our competition is based out of other states, other great states like New York and Chicago. But I tell our prospects and our clients, and when you invest with us, you invest in Florida. Right. And I'm very passionate about that and supporting each other in our local businesses.
And I think what's really important is that some of these companies are relocated, and they have a chance to meet with you when you talk about why you chose Tampa, which is, we just heard that story. And so what we at Elevate, we talked about reasons Tampa has swagger and ways we can elevate Tampa together. What's impressed you most, just in general, about the excitement here?
Well, first, the hockey fans.
That's right.
I mean, I moved here and I could not believe it. It was so fun because coming from Chicago, being born in Chicago with Cubs and all, being a big Cubs fan, but just seeing the Lightning and how it's a hockey town and just tremendously exciting. And then, of course, now with the Bucks and the Rays. But I really enjoy the spirit here, and I can't put my finger on it, but I think it's an exciting time to be here, and I think there's just very nice people here. The business climate is great. I feel that people truly want to raise all boats, and it's not a contentious it's a healthy competition, and I love that. I think it's a way to be, and so I think the more we can help each other, and I think people are making investments in each other, and that really pays off all the way around.
Yeah, we tell people at Elevate, that it's a very open community. You could ask pretty much anyone to have virtual coffee now, and they will. So yes. I know we're running short on time, but I did want to give you a chance to say anything that I haven't asked, anything you want to say to our viewers about you, Workscapes, and how to get connected to you.
Well, we are open, first of all. We have just refreshed our showroom here in Tampa. It's beautiful. We've actually refreshed our Orlando showroom as well. Jacksonville's doing great. Fort Myers never closed. So, we want you to come over. We want you to see what's happening in the workplace, and we do have a lot of research at our fingertips. One size does not fit all, so we really take a very individual approach to each company and client. And feel free to reach out to me at edvorak@workscapes.com.
Yeah, we'll put your information here on our page, and we'll obviously link your website. But I think. Excuse me. sorry. I think when I wanted to close by saying, a lot of people that have heard about, the unique approach you take to your showroom. I think one of the first things you did was have an event or two during during your first couple months here, and you always invite people for showrooms. And you were just selected as a Super Bowl vendor, and it's so exciting. You were talking about the exciting things in Tampa and sports, and I know. Hopefully we'll have a Super Bowl.
Yes, we hope so.
And we'll have, but I mean, I think what's important is these kind of opportunities that you had to kind of find in the community are open. And so, one last question is, as other companies are coming here, how do you get them to connect with you, and how do you bring them to your showroom, and what other advice do you have to the companies that are thinking about coming?
Well, as I said, it's a daunting task to think about change and how much space do you need, and what's the future of work look like with coming out of this pandemic. So obviously there's a lot of information online, and a lot of people do all their research, but there's really no substitute for getting together in person or virtually if we have to, but to really talk about that company's goals and objectives, and then back into that. We are not prescriptive to say, this is how you should build out your space, and it's not the way we operate. So we really do a lot of discovery with clients and then help them reach their goals in the way that they want to work, and we help lead and guide them in that way.
Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's been great to talk to you. We really appreciate you. This is Aakash Patel with Elevate Inc., and you've been watching Elevating Today, our podcast. This is episode 7 of season 1. Thanks so much.